Hello everybody, I've just finished my playthrough of The Witness, and though completely baffled by the ending, I've had a day to think about it, and I think I have some ideas about what the game means. I think the game is a artistic, comedic experiment into our ideas of fun, our ideas of suspense, storytelling, confusion, and manipulation. Like you, if you've played the game or if you've watched my playthrough, you'll see that I spent the entire game speculating and theorising about what was happening on this island, what was going to be the big reveal at the end, the big kind of climactic ending to tie everything together. You'll hear me speculate there might have been some kind of scientific organisations or a religious cult that inhabited the island. Then everything kind of went wrong in a mysterious way, and there was all the Vesuvian-esque statues in weird kind of poses, some having fun, some looking scared, some going about everyday things. However, all of these theories are wrong. There was no real happening on the island. It's obvious, really, when you've played through the entire game and you've reached the final mountain areas where you see the design rooms. You see the rooms designing the puzzles, designing a temple with a broken wall. The temple wasn't complete and then had a wall broken or crumbled wall because of some earthquake or other natural disaster or fight or human destruction. The temple was designed all along to have a broken wall, to make you ask these questions, to make you ask, why is there a broken wall? And the reason is, it was designed that way. In a way, the game is playing the gamer, playing the player, because it is so meticulously and so beautifully designed and so incredibly well put together that it makes you want to take it seriously. It makes you want to think there is some great conclusion, some higher idea that we lowly humans can kind of have missed. But no, it's all so beautifully done to poke fun at you. The joke is on us. There is a lot of wry comedy, a wry humour in the game, making fun of the player and our desire for bigger and wondrous conclusions. The game is meticulously designed to play you and manipulate you and confuse you and make you think. And it does it beautifully. The art style is so good, and it's so also the island is so beautifully realised, and the puzzles are so fantastic and so massive and so plentiful that there is only one conclusion. It is a computer game, a puzzle game. It is a puzzle game, nothing more. But it challenges you constantly, or not challenges you. It's very challenging. The puzzles are challenging, but that's not the point. The game just makes you want there to be other things. This beginning, as you can see in the background as I'm speaking now, starting in this dark tunnel with a doorway at the end. Now, is there anything more mysterious about this beginning? Some games set you up. You have a name, you have a location that you know. This game starts you like this, with a door at the end that you can walk towards only in a dark tunnel. Now, why? Why are we here? It is the first thing you ask when you enter this game, and that's the joke, that there is no real reason. One scene really kind of exemplifies what I'm talking about beautifully, and that is the garden area of the kind of fortress. You'll be able to see this if you haven't played through the game. See this in my playthrough. But you enter this area, and there's a kind of chessboard-esque puzzle laid out in front of you. It immediately looks like a giant human-sized chessboard where humans can be used for the pieces, which is clearly a suggestion as to you are being used like a chess piece in this game, running around, completing puzzles, running through mazes. There's even a voice recording that talks about the use of I think mice or something, or animals in air experiments like mazes. But anyway, you walk into this garden and there are statues everywhere, and the statues, you have fences. You just have some statues of fences which are a mix from an unknown time period, but they have the kind of equipment that suggests 20th century, or or this century. And then you have a man in a kind of high throne, sort of exclaiming about something or other, but completely sort of disconnected. And then you just have a guy with an electric guitar playing music in the corner. Again, a mix of times. It isn't from the very, very distant past, or it's not from the future, it's from now, but none of it connects. And then there's security guards. What are the security guards doing? But modern day security guards, the kind of FBI style sunglasses and dark suit security guards. That what's their purpose? And then round the corner you have a guy with a sack, just who looks like a kind of kitchen porter or a gardener or something, who just looks like he's struggling under the weight of something. It's all just disconnected, and none of it joins, and that's the point. It's a joke. We've got a chessboard of random people being manipulated, and the biggest person being manipulated is you, the player. And that really kind of drove it home, that it's purposefully ambiguous. Which ambiguous is even suggests there is a hidden meaning, but no, it's purposefully bizarre and disconnected. It makes you wonder, and there isn't, because there is no connection between those characters in the garden. Then it just makes you think, what is the connection? What is the connection? But there isn't one. That's the joke. But you still play the game, and that's what is genius at doing. This game is really genius at doing. My brain exploded on multiple occasions. If you saw my playthrough, you'll see that I had to quit because I was going mad, or run off to a different thing. I basically spent the entire playthrough running around like a headless chicken, tearing my hair out over puzzles, and then going back to them, and then seeing the beautiful solution, the clear solution, if you just spend a moment to think about. But I wanted to do them. It wasn't a chore. It was a desire to keep pushing on and to win and to pass the tests. So the game keeps you playing regardless of any giant meaning. And it's great. It's a great game. It does it all beautifully. At the end, the ending where you other things before I go to the ending, things like the constant daytime, the sun never moves. This is another, it's meticulous. The design is meticulous, and it clearly isn't reality. It clearly isn't something that you're not just on an island where something happened, because there would be other real things like a day cycle, a night cycle, but there aren't. There's no rain. It's just the same constantly. And then lastly, the ending is just bizarre. There's another voice recording. Again, the voice recordings, they're all put in to make you and they talk about deep concepts of God and science and philosophy, but they're there to increase the joke, to create the illusion of something happening. But there isn't. There's nothing happening apart from this. This is it. What is happening is an illusion, a great big illusion of confusion and manipulation. And comedy. It is a humorous game, and it does it absolutely gorgeously. Now, the ending, when you go flying off around the island, and you become disembodied because you fly through gaps which the player that you have been playing, you see his shadow, or her shadow, but I think it's a man, and you hear his footsteps. So you are playing a body through the game, but then you suddenly just fly off, and the cage that you're in or the elevator that you're in just disintegrates, and you're whizzing around. Again, it's another kind of joke that none of it's real and it's all an illusion, and that even the character you were playing is just a figment of the game. And it deposits you back into the tunnel from where you came, from whence you came, with no explanation. It puts you back here and says, do you remember this? This is it. The whole game is this. It is a question about, well, it's not, sorry, it's an illusion. It makes you think, but in reality there is no great happening. It's just a big experiment into fun, confusion and illusion. But then again, I could be wrong. Who knows?